Alright guys, there's a lot before we get into today's topic. You can see that I am beautiful right here. I'm all nice and swollen, and I've got surgical scars and markings and whatnot on all that. My surgery was on Monday, and I think it went better than expected. They did not actually touch my meniscus. The tear in my meniscus was pretty much healed by the PRP that I did, which is the platelets and whatnot that they injected directly onto the meniscus to get it to heal. But what they did find is that my knee was full of rice-shaped and sized pellets that were being produced by my synovium that were just like little cartilage deposits which were obstructing my knee joint. And so they flushed all that out. They shaved down the synovium tumor, basically, sent off some of it to the lab to find out what it was. There's a 1 in 1,000 chance that it might be cancer, but even if it was, they just removed all of that. So even if it was cancer, then unless they missed some cells, it's not coming back. So fingers crossed, but I think that we got it. So I'm on the road to recovery. The other new thing is that I am wearing this brand new singlet that I just got in for $6. It took forever to get here, but I want to thank Lobo Gris and AZ Knockout for recommending it or suggesting or telling me where they got it. This is one of the worst singlets that I've ever owned, and I love it. It is just like the thinnest fabric, and it's super stretchy, and it kind of has kind of a weird smell to it, but they like to wrestle with these in their videos, and it's just I kind of like how it looks, and I love the awfulness of it. And so thank you for pointing me in the right direction for that. And yeah, getting into today's topic, I know I covered this a while back to a certain extent, looking at how do you find what you want online. And there are a few resources out there. Global Fight is one of those ones that hasn't been updated, at least since the last time I looked at it, in probably 20 years since it was first introduced. It's very HTML, old school, just they haven't had really the desire to update it. This is very similar to other platforms for like kink, not necessarily wrestling, such as FetLife. Again, very HTML, very old school, and kind of really hard to navigate, and they haven't had any real desire to update that. Recon is another one, which is, they got it to a stage where it was pretty good, but as time has gone by, it's become more and more apparent that updates actually need to happen, which is what brings me on to the one that is kind of the gold standard, and for better or worse, which is the Meetfighters, which is becoming like this branching out of multiple projects. So a couple years ago, they came out with Watchfighters, which is going to be basically YouTube for porn, basically wrestling porn predominantly, but there are other things on there. There's definitely BDSM porn and that type of thing. And they are now developing Meat Kink, not the name that I would have gone with. And I was hoping that it would be the thing that either pushes Recon to update to the way that they handle things, or would be the thing that unseats Recon and is so much better. And by the way that things are going so far, I'm not sure that this is the right team to be doing that. But I will give them the benefit of the doubt and see where it goes. But the beta test that I've seen so far is, it really has some of the same flaws that I feel that Meetfighters and Watchfighters both have, where there's kind of this vision for the people that are doing it as far as how they see the BDSM world, and there isn't really, if you don't fall perfectly within that, they become less than perfect tools for you to use. So hopefully, if they do see this video and they hear that, hopefully they take that to heart. My interactions with them in the past have not demonstrated that that is their mentality when it comes to any type of criticism. A lot of times it's been to defend and to not really take feedback in a constructive way. So I hope that's not the case. I hope that they are growing and that they actually do come up with a very great product. I don't want to see them fail. I really want to see that they actually do right by this community. So I want to go ahead and talk about their first project, which is going to be, of course, Meetfighters, which is the platform that I predominantly use in order to find my matches. And if you're not on there already, then I highly recommend that you get onto there. It is, again, kind of the gold standard, and because they are more wrestling and fitness and whatnot oriented people, I think that of the projects that they've done, it is still by far the best one that they've come out with. And I want to go ahead and talk about, first starting off with when you get to the homepage, there's a lot of things that Meetfighters actually does, and some things that I really, really appreciate that they do and do well. So when you look at the top bar up there, you have wrestlers that it's just kind of random generated, so you can see people and be like, oh, that person's kind of hot or whatever, and it'll take you to their profile and all that, which is not the best way of finding people, but it is kind of one of those things that when I see people, I click on that and I actually will find people. And so they have this little section that will have like their latest contributors. That's people that have actually paid to support the site. It is one of those things that I do think that everybody should do. I think that you should pay to support the people that are supporting you. And the thing that is way different about Meetfighters than Global Fight, whatever, is that a lot of these sites have monthly subscriptions that are like in the $40 range or something like that. For Meetfighters, they don't. When you don't contribute, they don't really reduce the functionality of the site very much. It actually, you can probably get away with not contributing and still use the site pretty much to its fullest. And that's one of the best things about it as far as ethics go. And so when I have contributed to it, and I have contributed on the gold level, which is the second to highest level, which is like a $40 a year type thing, and it's completely optional for you to do. When you do it, they put you in the little corner there for like a week or whatever, and people see you that might not have otherwise seen you, and people will reach out and whatnot. And so it's kind of like a nice little thank you that they do for their thing for people. They also have like this little bar right to the in the very center of the screen, which actually highlights their new members, people who just signed up, and they do generally require most people to actually have photos in their profile. They won't put you in that little bar if you don't have a photo. When you do upload photos, they will have you, I don't know if they still do this, they did this a while ago, where you had a photo that they told you, okay, we want you to send this photo, and we want you to send this photo with you holding a password or whatever, so they can verify that the photos that you're using is actually the person who's on the other side of this. So they want to make sure that you're actually using your own photos, which is one of the things that you don't get on Grindr. You got a lot of fake people there, you got a lot of catfishing. Meetfighters actually goes out of its way to prevent catfishing by doing that. So that's one of the things that I actually really do like. And then you have the quick search options, which they have the style drop down, and this is one of the key things that I think that you guys really, really need to understand is that, they, at the top, when you do the quick search, they have any Olympic style wrestling. So this is like pinning styles, right? Submission, NHB, pro, sumo, boxing, Muay Thai, judo, just watching, right? So you try to find what kind of people that you're looking for. Oftentimes I just keep it on any or submission because that's what I'm looking for. When it comes to locations, it does your whatever locations are in your profile. So if you actually are traveling or something like that, you can have this option on the quick search there where when you say, okay, I just went to San Diego last month, and so when I put in my profile that I was going to be traveling to San Diego, in that drop down menu from the time that I said that I was going to go, right, till the time I came back, it actually automatically put San Diego into my location, so I could actually do that drop down menu and then see who was in the area when I was down there. So it's kind of a really useful feature, except for if you haven't announced that you're going on a trip or you're trying to decide where you want to go, you do have to go into the member searches or the advanced search in order to look into other locations. But for the quick search, it's kind of a convenient thing, and I do look at that probably every day. And when I get into people go into the results for that, oftentimes I'll look at a couple, and I'll come back to this in a moment, but I will look at, order people by date of when they started their profile or date of arrival. I'll look at both of those so that I can actually see who just joined the site and also who's coming to visit. The one thing I would say for the sorting by date of arrival is it's actually a little bit confusing because it doesn't know what to do for people who just live in the area. And so if you have it toggled in the wrong order, you'll just see people who've been there forever and ever and ever. And it can be a little bit confusing for that. You want to flip it so that you can see, oh, this person's actually coming at the end of the month, or this person's coming next month, or whatever, so that you can see people who are visiting, which is actually a really, really nice feature that I really like. So yeah, I have a new stuff button. I'm trying to remember where I saw this. So you have members, blogs, groups, forums, watch fighters, chat fighters. So when you look at in the upper left-hand corner, you click on new stuff when you're on the homepage. You've got all these different resources that are available to you where people are having conversations. They're posting to watch fighters, chat fighters, which is just chat rooms and whatnot. You can see site updates when they announce new features. So that's actually really nice. And then meetup notifications or local match requests. So those are things where people are coming to your town. They'll put it in a match request if they're visiting in your town, and then there's that extra announcement that somebody's actually coming to visit you, which is actually, again, really nice. Interest groups, again, a lot of times when I'm trying to find people, and this is going to come back again when I'm talking about what you put in your profile, but also joining interest groups is another way to kind of communicate to people, and actually being active in those. Can be a good way of communicating to people what you're about on the site. And that's one of the key points that I'm going to be coming back to a couple times in this video, is that you need to communicate what you are about, because otherwise nobody's going to pay attention to you. And so being in interest groups, being in forums, and actually being active in those, that's going to be one of the things that's going to help you find more people all the time. And the fact that they're actually really, really loose about moderating those things. So the times that I have been grumpy about Meetfighters has been when I have tried to link videos to this YouTube channel when I've done something and I was like, okay, well, I'm talking about body scissors technique or something like that, and I posted it to the relevant groups. So I think that it was the video that I did where I talked about body scissors, head scissors, and bear hugs and whatnot. And so I posted it to the constriction group, I posted it to the body scissors group, the bear hug group, and whatnot, so that anybody who might be interested would be able to see that video, and I was trying to be helpful. They didn't like that because I was linking to an outside site. So that's one of the areas where I've had beefs with them. But that being said, I do understand where they're coming from. I do think that they should be a little bit less paranoid about competition, because competition, even in this type of industry, is actually going to be really good, because then that's going to drive innovation and that type of thing. So, and also, I'm not making any money here, right? I don't have a Patreon or an OnlyFans or something like that you guys can pay money to me to compensate for me for what I'm doing here. I'm not taking away business from anybody. So, so that's that. Yeah, we talked about the search orders, and you can do it by a lot of different things. So whatever you guys find that might be very helpful to you. The thing that I think that irritates me a little bit, but I also see how this would be a programming nightmare, is that when you sort by location and whatnot, you will end up with the names of cities, and you don't necessarily have a quick way of jumping to, it might be easier if they actually put in, once you get the results, instead of the page numbers, go to A, B, C, D, or E, whatever the city name starts with. That might actually be a lot more helpful, and I guess I should probably send them a ticket about that. But it'll do them in alphabetical order or reverse alphabetical order, and so sometimes it takes a while to get to the city that you're actually going to. And it would almost be nice, because you don't necessarily know the neighboring cities, depending on if you have a car when you're visiting a place, to be able to drive around and see what's there. So it would be nice if there was a way to do it by miles from the location that you're visiting. But that being said, I also see how that could be a programming nightmare. And though a lot of sites do it and they do it very well, I don't know how they accomplish that. So they have the next search order option is country name, the age. So if you want to stick to people that are in your age bracket, that is an option there. Height, weight. So if you want to have people close to your own stats. The start of membership, again, that's the one that I like a lot, so I can see who the new people are coming to my area. The last login, you want to know who's going to be active, and a lot of people aren't, right? When was the last time their profile was updated? That's a great one as well. Number of opponents that they've had, so you don't want to deal with anybody who's fake, or the date of arrivals, which again can be confusing because it's the way that it sorts it is a little bit wonky, and I wish that was a little bit more clear. And then you also have the member search and advanced search options. The thing about that is if you do a keyword search, I think generally speaking, it doesn't actually crawl the profiles, right? So if you have a specific thing that you are looking for, if it's in somebody's profile name, it'll come up, but it won't actually read through the profiles and say, hey, this person put this in their description, and therefore that person comes up. So that one's a little bit irritating to me, but and I wish that could be a little bit better. But anyways, and I'm not really doing this. I want to talk about the features of Meetfighters here, but I don't necessarily want to, and help you to utilize it better, but I don't necessarily want to make it all about, me criticizing them for their shortcomings, because there is a lot of great stuff that they do here. So when you're in somebody's profile, the things that they put in there is like, how long have you been a member? What is your age, height, weight, gender, sexual orientation? What are you looking for as far as genders go? What are your gear preferences? I think that when you do that, you have check boxes, so you're not going to have every type of gear that's available. So if you have a specific fetish or something like that, you need to write that in your description, right? If you speak any languages besides just English or whatever your native tongue is, right? Last login, last update, so you know how active people are. And they'll actually have a little symbol that will indicate how if you have been idle for some time. How far you're willing to travel, how many past opponents you have, who your past opponents are, recommendations, so you can find friends of friends, right? Groups that you are in, notes. Those are notes that you can actually write your own personal notes about somebody, so you can remind yourself why you were interested in this person, and only you can see those. So that's a great feature. And then you also have the follow feature, and that will give you a little window that will pop up that will tell you when you want to have notifications. I usually just make it so that when somebody updates their profile, that's what I want to see. But it'll also tell you, if you have a friend on there that you've wrestled a few times, and you don't want to forget when their birthday is, it'll give you a notification that will tell you when their birthday is. So that's nice too. They also have a little section where they have like your interests, which will be like all the different styles that you may have there. They have like mat structure, whether or not you are doing like a rip and strip, if you're doing something more sexual, if you're doing something that is just watching, or if you want to do pro wrestling, so you're staging it, you're doing fake, or if you want to do competitive matches, you have those abilities to kind of specify that. Specific stand-up fighting, specific wrestling styles, miscellaneous interests that you may have, fetishes, whether or not you're vaccinated for COVID-19, monkeypox, things like that. You can indicate that in your profile, and you get a little badge for that. You have safety awareness badges, and whether or not you contribute to the site, and then you have your photos and your videos that you can put in your profile. And the thing, and right above your description on your profile, if you want to, there's a little house button that's over the paragraph text that you can type in, and that is for your website. Mine, of course, links to this YouTube channel, and they were actually very clear when they were complaining to me that that's where I need to put my website. So there's that, and so here's kind of the thing about that, is that a lot of that information, I think that most people are going to glance through the checkbox stuff that you kind of have to fill in order to have a Meetfighters profile, and it's helpful, but it's really actually important that you actually do write the paragraph section. And for me, this is really what it comes down to why I'm making this video, because I'm actually in the process of rewriting that, and there's always that question of how much do you write, and you want to be writing somewhere between 1 to 3 paragraphs, really 1 to 2, because people's attention span, when they see a large paragraph in a profile, you get that kind of too long, didn't read kind of thing that happens. And I still do that in my profiles, even though that I know that I shouldn't, but also at the same time I have a lot that I feel like I need to convey, because I'm a complicated, very multifaceted person, and hopefully you are too. So really what it comes down to is what makes you interesting to the person that you are trying to find. And when you put in your profile, I'm just going to comment on this, the thing that says any institutions does not have permission to use data in my profile, nobody's going to pay attention to it. And also there's like, that was something I was started on Facebook that has no legal binding anything, will not deter anybody from doing anything, but also the people taking your information from these profiles do not exist in the first place. So really that's something that kind of makes people roll their eyes when they see that in your profile. Another thing that I do want to comment on is that I know that some people are not out of the closet, and I know that there might be circumstances where you feel like you can't come out. And Meetfighters does allow you to just use body shots for your profile photos. It is always better if you do have a face shot as well. They actually want it to be clear. They will really not let you have a main profile photo that isn't a good quality photo that accurately at least shows your body and or your face, and that is a good thing. The idea that somebody is going to find you, let's say at a restaurant when you were there with your family or your boss or something like that, and they're going to out you. I have been in the leather community. I live in Seattle, or lived in Seattle. I live in Tacoma now, and I have only once ever known a person to not have the common sense to not out somebody in a mixed company space. And I don't even think it happened to me. I don't even remember. It was not a significant event, but it's really almost never heard of that that you're going to end up getting outed. The people that are on these sites are people who are like-minded to you, at least to a certain extent, and they also understand where you're coming from. So the odds of somebody actually outing you, or your boss walking in on you, or finding your profile or something like that, are pretty much non-existent. So there isn't really a great justification for mass discretion. And the other thing is that when people say, I want to be super discreet, the thing is that I don't know you. I don't know the people that you were connected with. I have nobody that I can tell. Your discretion, once we choose a hotel or you come to my place or something like that, you're in kind of a safe zone as far as discretion goes. Maybe not in other ways, but you are safe. You're not going to be outed. The paranoia around that is just not founded. And so, I would say that, this is 2024. It's very unlikely, unless you have like some high security government job where they're going to do an internet crawl to try to find you. The people that I find that are still saying, okay, well, I need to be very discreet and whatnot, they're working oftentimes jobs where nobody cares. Nobody's going to recognize you. I was actually coming back from San Diego, and I ran into one of my former wrestling buddies there while he was at work. He was working the ticketing counter where I was checking my bag, and I said hello to him. I waved hi. I was really excited to see him, and his coworker asked, how we knew each other, and I said that we knew each other when he was still living up here in Seattle. That was it. And that's a really reasonable way of handling that situation. And hopefully the people that you meet are going to respect that and understand that. So I'll get off my soapbox about that, because I know that not everybody's going to feel that way, but it is kind of an important thing to kind of understand, because while you're living in this fear, you are not living your full life. You are not living your best life. So I would recommend that you sort out your priorities so that you can be happier. Moving on. So when I am writing my profile, there are a few things that I want to make sure. First of all, I want to attract the type of people that I want to attract, and I really want to emphasize that when it comes to wrestling, you go to watch fighters, which I recommend that you do. Support, small people doing videos and whatnot, because you know, it puts more diversity out there. For the longest time we had BG East, we had PWP, we had a very, very limited view of what people's expression of wrestling was, right? And it's honestly the type of wrestling that absolutely drives me batshit crazy. And I'm not saying that it's not valid and that you shouldn't actually absolutely completely enjoy what you love. It is not my thing. The gay fake pro wrestling stuff. I like things to be real, and I really, really appreciate having a platform now where you see people. I was actually just commenting because I don't know if. Well, you guys probably do know this about me now if you've been on this channel and followed it long enough. I really, really love squeeze play. I love body scissors, bear hugs. I've gotten really into head scissors and being smothered with somebody's genitals through spandex and whatnot. It just makes a really, really lovely smell there. And I'm a total pervert. And I was recently watching Dio Trarisi and Brat Tamer video, and it was authentic. One of the people in the comments had commented that he's not even trying to escape, and I made my own comment, not as a reply to that, but just in the comment section, saying that he's suffering, he's having trouble breathing, he's in pain, and he is stuck there stroking Brat Tamer's legs as kind of an affection sort of thing, and that's the way that I take it sometimes. Like, sometimes I don't want to escape. Sometimes I want to just take the punishment and enjoy that. And you wouldn't see that if we were just watching BGs. You wouldn't see that as much where there are people who have a similar sexual expression that you do. When you are limited to what is going to sell the most, what's going to sell to the most people, you get this blanket of what is going to appeal to the most people ever, and they have identified that it is this fantasy where everything is fake and it's very pro-oriented and whatnot. And that is great that a lot of people do enjoy that, but for people who are more niche, having a small venue like Watchfighters actually gives us a place where we can actually find content that is more tailored to us, because there are other people who have a very similar expression. For me, as being, again, a multifaceted person, I also get into competitive submission wrestling. And I had a bad experience years ago, and I think I actually commented on this on the last time I did this subject, where I met with a guy and I made very clear when we were talking, and it sounded like he'd be into it, that we were going to be doing submission wrestling. That I did not enjoy the fake pro stuff, and we met up, and he totally dove right into the fake stuff while I'm doing real submission holds to him. And then he complained later, he gave me a bad review on Meetfighters, which again, the reviews are a great thing, but you get into this situation where, he wasn't tapping, and then he's complaining that he got injured. And because, he did not respect what I had said in my own profile, that and what we had communicated through our messages, that since he didn't respect that, it's really on him that he wasn't tapping, he wasn't communicating that he was getting hurt or was in danger. And I think that now that I am older, and that, it caught me off guard, to be honest with you, back then, that he was, I forget what they call, selling the hold, right? And so he is making this ridiculous show about being in pain when he was actually getting hurt, and I didn't know how to respond to that because I'd never wrestled like that, never. And so because he wasn't communicating with me, he wasn't taking the miscommunication seriously, he got hurt, and I felt bad about that. And I felt bad that that was going to be a stamp on my reputation. So it's really, really important that you read people's profiles and that you also clearly explain what it is that you're after. And you don't have to be sexy for the masses. You don't have to be appealing to the masses, right? If I want to, attract somebody like the people that you would find in the Facebook group Triangles Everywhere, which I think they might also have a Telegram group and all that. What I would expect in that group is that everybody trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They're very serious about it, and they just happen to be LGBTQ. And so that they're going to be looking for very, very real submission wrestling and probably in the gi and all that. And that's great, right? And so you don't have to be sexy for those people because that's not what they're after, right? And so be you, be your authentic self, and don't be afraid of judgment. I don't think I have had many people that have come to my profile and said, you're disgusting, or that your kinks aren't my kinks, or or anything like that. Whether it's on Recon, FetLife, or here, people generally tend to be rather actually receptive, and they appreciate it. And if they're not interested, they just won't reach out to you. And I think that's a very important thing to understand. So, you have permission to be your most authentic self when you're filling out your profile. And that's one of the reasons why, you do need at least, really two paragraphs. One that just kind of explains who you are and what you're looking for. So saying that, I prefer to do like larger than life pro wrestling. Great. Say that in your profile, and the people that are into pro wrestling will find it, and they'll see that in your profile and they'll get excited. Or if you say that you are really into being crushed in body scissors, that might be something that appeals to somebody. Or that you are a bodybuilder that he really wants to show his power for somebody else, or whatever. So really, really look at what defines you, what you're really looking for, and grow a pair. Like, actually say, this is what I want. What drives me nuts is when people come in and they say, well, I don't know what to write here. Well, what brought you here? Right? Some people are like, well, I don't know what style I want to do, and it's fine to not know, and so, but you do have to get your feet wet. So try submission wrestling, right? Try pinning wrestling, try more pro stuff, try to figure out what it is that you want, what interests you. Like, if you're not sure, go to watch fighters. Maybe you actually, I'm not sure if it would work, but if you link to a video that you find on watch fighters and say, this really turns me on, I like this, somebody might actually watch that video and go, oh yeah, you might, if you are authentic, you might actually find that you find somebody that is really, really turned on by that is really enthused by that, and actually wants to play with you. So really, you're standing in your own way by not filling out your profiles, by not being authentic, by not putting yourself out there in a way that is going to catch the right people's attention. So be loud, be proud, be who you are, and take the time to say that. And I can't tell you that, and by all means, say what you're not into. That's perfectly fine too. Set your boundaries, set your limits. One of the things that I've had to be dealing with lately is I actually have a new friend who just moved to the area who I've done some BDSM with, and he's more of a toppy switch. I thought it was the other way around, and I topped him a few times, and he's topped me a few times. And there have been some miscommunications that I've had to deal with him pushing boundaries. And I have had to actually say, this is what a safe word means to me. And he thought, anything's a go as long as I don't safe word. No, for me, a safe word means trust is broken. We may not actually play again. So if I actually feel like I absolutely have to safe word with you, that means that might be the end of the road for us. We might not ever play again, and that's not what he wants. That's not what I want. So what really matters in that type of situation is that we say, okay, you need to be more responsive to when I say no, to when I am freaking out. or whatever. Like the scene I'll actually give the example here is that I had been in a mummification, and he had put a nipple clamp, not even a nipple clamp, it was forceps, and they were on there pretty tight for about 20 minutes on my right nipple. And I'm also afraid of needles. You didn't need to know that. Needle play is fine for me. I'm kind of a lightweight, but there's only a couple needles that you can put into me before I just get super high, and it's easy to freak me out with them. And so he's teasing me with a 16 gauge, which is a very big needle, going to my nipple that was very, very sensitive. And I was screaming, no, 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 no. And he actually was, the needle that he actually put in was a 27, which is very small. But my nipple was so sensitive that it felt like it was getting torn apart when he was going through. And I had made very clear, and I actually tried to compromise with him. I said that, you know, you can go on the chest, you can go anywhere up here that isn't like right on the nipple, and that would be okay. And he didn't go through the compromise, he went straight through the nipple. And it was just kind of a breach of trust. And so it's really, really important that you establish, you know, how you plan on communicating, and where your limits are. All those things are very, very essential to having a good, positive experience. And so if you don't know what to write, you know, just write out a list, okay? This is my yes list, this is my no list. You know, talk about communication, talk about your concerns about STIs and things like that, whether or not you want to have sex, or if any sexual contact is okay, right? So some people you've probably noticed when they wrestle, it's not really wrestling, it's really frauding that turns into blowjobs, that turns into anal penetration. And for a lot of people, most of the people that I've met up with over the years, they don't want any of that. Maybe they'll be okay with groping, and as I get older and I get more sexual, I have become more sexually mature. I have said yes to anal when it has come to wrestling with somebody that was, I think, out of California or whatever. And we just had like perfect sexual chemistry, but that was exceedingly rare for me, and it's not what I'm looking for when I'm meeting somebody off of Meetfighters. So, you know, what degree of sexual activity do you want? You know, some people, again, if you are kind of that mentality of the triangles everywhere clique, then you don't want any sexual activity. This isn't about sex to you, this is about sport to you. So make that clear. If you are okay with groping or rubbing or things like that, maybe that's cool. If you have a fantasy, go ahead and talk about the fantasy. Again, the best thing that you can do is give the reader a boner. It really is the best thing you can do. So write what makes you exciting, write what makes you interesting, write what makes you insecure, or what you're apprehensive about, so that people can address that with you and meet that head on and show you that they've read your profile. Because again, all those things are really, really important to you finding what you want, what you need, and why this is great for you. So I know that this was a long one, guys. Thank you for sticking with me to the very end. The prognosis right now, I don't actually know. What was told to me before my surgery was that if they did if they stitched the meniscus, I would have to be non-weight bearing for 4 weeks. That didn't happen. If they ground down the meniscus, then I'm going to go through physical therapy, and I should be able to wrestle by mid to late August. They didn't touch the meniscus. They just went into the synovium, which is spongy soft tissue, right? That is just throwing out fluid and whatnot into your joints. And so I don't know what the recovery for that's going to be like. I don't know what my PT is going to be like. I don't know when I'm going to start to regain range of motion. I will show you this. This is actually kind of exciting to me. I'm going to stand up here. And so you can see with my left leg, I've got about 20 degrees of hyperextension. And right here, I'm starting to get a little bit of pain right there, but I'm actually getting about, I don't know, 5 degrees of hyperextension there, which is what's normal for most people. So that's functional for me. Now, of course, I'm swollen. That's about as far as I can get standing on leg. That's about what I can pull up with just mine. So what that means is that, you know, I can't get onto my knees and bring my butt to my heels yet, which is going to be really, really the deciding factor of when I can start going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu again, when I can start teaching again. And I don't know if that's going to be one of those things where, you know, in 2 weeks, the swelling's going to go away, things are going to heal, and I'm going to go back to a state of normalcy that I haven't known in a year and a half. That could be the actual case here. So we'll see what the PT says on Thursday, so that's tomorrow, and we will see what the doctor says when I've got a checkup in a couple weeks, and then 6 weeks out I have a checkup with the actual orthopedist who did the surgeon who did the surgery, and I'll have a better understanding when we get down in that part of it. But you know, I might be coming back to you guys very soon with new content that's actually wrestling related, that's actually on the mats. And I am I've cried a few times in the last couple of days, maybe not outwardly, but at least on the inside I get a little bit choked up. I wrote letters of gratitude to my surgical team, to the doctors that actually listened to me, who actually looked at my MRI, who actually did the things that led to me getting this surgery, who did not fuck with my meniscus, and how much it was just such a night and day thing for me to be with University of Washington rather than Kaiser. And to be treated like a human who's in a lot of emotional pain as well as physical pain. And the way that I've been feeling since the surgery has been, again, I've been filled with levels of gratitude that I haven't known in years. And I have a lot of hope. I'm happier. A lot of my depression and anxiety has kind of melted away. And maybe that's has to do with the anesthetics they gave me. I have no idea. Or it's just that I might actually be healing for the first time in over a year. So that means that I can go back to being me, that I can go back to meeting people. And, I have been, for the first time in my life, in a financial position where I can travel. I can go meet people. So I am hoping that by, mid to late August, based on what they originally told me, it might be sooner than that, I might actually be traveling. I might be going to New York City. I might be going to Chicago. I need to go back to San Diego because there's some people that I missed down there that I really wanted to meet, and one of them that I wanted to visit that I've wrestled with before. And I honestly, I'm sorry guys, it would have been a mistake for me to actually meet you then, because I was in no condition to actually roll. And now that I know what was going on in my knee, I think I would have done a lot of damage to myself if I had tried to roll then. So, now we have the answers, most of the answers. We're waiting for one more answer, and that's whether or not the tumor was cancerous or not. I don't think it was. Hopefully, fingers crossed, and even if it was, it's gone now. So, maybe that's something I have to look for in the future and keep an eye out for. But, odds are we're on the other side of the tunnel, guys. So I appreciate those who have been supportive and respectful for me being in this situation, in this condition. I know that I haven't always been who I set out to be for this channel. And I hope that on the other end of this, I can start making this channel what I set it out for it to be. And I know that, in the beginning, this was a COVID-19 project while I was in quarantine. A lot of stuff was really, really geared towards solo training. And I hope that in this fall, we will be seeing a lot more partner training and things demonstrated in a way that you can actually do. But for those of you who don't know, because you only see the newest content here, there's a shit ton on this channel. There is a shit ton of submission wrestling techniques that absolutely will help your game. And really, if you look at like the early solo drill stuff, the early stuff that I was demonstrating, understanding how to hold somebody down on the ground and all that stuff, I haven't seen a whole lot of people that have come out of this, and I haven't rolled with them, who have demonstrated that they really watched those videos and really, really learned them and took them to heart. So I do believe that if you go back and you look at, even the positional stuff, understanding how to pass guard, understanding how to hold somebody down in side control, scarf hold, switch base, things like that. Learning how to move on knee ride, getting to mount, how to maintain mount, things like that. All those things, guys, are going to really, really help your game. They're already on this channel, and I already know that I did actually a pretty good job with those. So go back and watch them. They are some of the least viewed videos on this channel. I talk about wrestling singlets, and I get thousands of views. I talk about, I should demonstrate how to hold somebody down in side control. It's got 24 views. So go back, guys, watch those early videos, those early playlists, because those are what's really going to help your game. I put a lot of work into them, and it really, really was to elevate the level of wrestlers that are, you know, in the gay community. So, you know, do me a solid, go back there and get good. Okay, that's why I'm here. That's what I started out to do, and I know that a lot of this is become very fitness and nutrition oriented. I've talked a lot about weight loss. There's a lot about exercise science on there. I was talking to a guy for a while there that I wanted to try to, I didn't have time to, give him basic workouts to help him along his path towards getting into the body that he wants. You know, there's all the information that you need is already on this channel. So go through it, find it. It shouldn't be that hard to find. I've actually been pretty thorough about things here. So take the time and learn and use the tools that I've given you, because I do think that it'll make you better. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. So thank you guys for watching. This was a little bit too long-winded. I will see you guys again soon, and it's just going to be better from here. Okay, we're all uphill from here. It's going to be great. All right, talk to you guys soon. Wow, I'm sounding like Joe Biden.